That's coming up. Oh, here comes January.
Yep, and there's January. So
Boom. Okay, so we'll get this show in the road. Let me get my video on and my hair because I didn't get a haircut yesterday because I was working late at work and then had to get the schedule going. I know it doesn't look like much, but with my autism, I feel like Iron John. But let's get. Oh, we are good, and let's get a move on. Welcome to hour three of the Boston Poetry Marathon. This has been an amazing time thus far. We still have so much to go, so far to go, and every hour has a highlight. I am looking forward to this. So I'm looking forward to starting the first poet. Our poets for this hour: Jennifer Jean, Collie Lightfoot, Tom Daly, Elizabeth Guthrie, January O'Neill, Clarice Brooks, Jennifer Martelli, and Maddie Deed. Most of us are here. We are herding the cats even in the background. So our first poet up, let's welcome Jennifer Jean.
Hi, everybody. I'm in my car. We pulled over to Dunkin' Donuts, and so I could be with everybody here because I want to hear everything and be with all of you. I'm going to read a poem for the folks in Southern California that just recently went through horrible fire. The poem's called Against the Wind. All horses and homeless folk go to the beach when fires rip through California canyons. They run to surf against the wind, away from the flame of the night. When the choke smoke dies, they canter home to campfire stones, tent poles, push carts, hoof brush wire, salt block racks, and spoons, the flats of certain spatulas. Not everything unnatural is gone. In the fortified Getty Museum, St. Martin dividing his cloak with a beggar, the piebald horse, and Van Gogh's irises are safe too. Sometimes I feel less than a work of art, like a horse awash in a wave, not ablaze, like I'm home free when the ash is thick on ground I've slept on for months. Sometimes I wait for miles of asters, blue dicks, and desert pincushions for an after fire super bloom to feel useful, creative, though I know that's as unwise as a California breeze after a decade of drought. And then second poem, last poem I'm going to read is an Emily Dickinson favorite, number 236. I'm on my way to the Tell It Slant Festival to see everybody there in Amherst. So this is Some Keep the Sabbath Going to Church. I keep it staying at home with a bobolink for a cloister and an orchard for a dome. Some keep the Sabbath in surplice. I just wear my wings. And instead of tolling the bell for church, our little sexton sings. God preaches, a noted clergyman, and the sermon is never long. So instead of getting to heaven at last, I'm going all along. Okay, that's it. Thanks. Happy to be here with all of you. Bye.
Fantastic. Haven't heard your work in a while. It's great to have you back here. Up next, we are going to welcome Collie Lightfoot.
Thank you. Is the volume good?
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Thanks, organizers. This is quite a thing that you've come up with. And I'm really glad to be asked to read this year, too. I'm turning my desk light on. I'm reading 3 poems, which will be in my next collection, full-length collection. First, we have Making Decisions. The first option presents itself quietly on tiptoe, or perhaps in a skid, spraying gravel. You start the inspection, turn the option around, look at its angles and particulars. It takes a seat, calmly dares you to push it aside. But you look for other options. A contender shows up. You study its facets, seat it next to the first. You circle them, poke and prod, then tire of considering both. You hope one will just shine from the pummeling, brilliant and definitive. Quietly, a third iridescent option shows itself. You curse its seductive sheen. Exhausted, finally, you seize one, declare it the better option, and wonder forever if what you made was a mistake. And next, even though I recycle plastic bags, donate to the Audubon Society, and have given up beef, wooden kitchen cabinets harvested from oak trees shelter my dishes, flour ground from wheat, cinnamon dried from inner bark of cassia trees, killed to flavor fruit pies, mulled cider, morning oatmeal, flax fibers residing in linen dish towels. A bowl of sea-pummeled seashells rests on the back of the toilet. Residents gone to oyster bars, clam shacks. The leather couch, would the cow have died anyway for steaks, burgers, pastrami sandwiches? I, human, apex predator, surround myself with dead things that I think I need. I am not the gentle soul that I believe myself to be. And finally, this is the title of the next book, and it's the title of this poem, Big Band Night at the Good Life Bar. Slowly the music rises from a mesmer of slow dance tunes to a celebration of brass, tempo ramping up as the leader loses her grip on a stately rhythm. Her face flushes, a mad grin sweeps from ear to ear. Dancers laugh and leap up from chairs to swing dance across the polished floor. As the crescendo of sound and speed reaches a peak, Beth yells, "Slow the music, Rose, let us breathe." The maestro wipes her face on her sleeve, waves her baton, and brings the band back as though on leash. A new melody line starts in the woodwinds. Dancers retreat for drinks, beam at each other, and return to conversation, the light still in their eyes. Beth and I rise, the music slow, my hand at her waist to spin her into my arms for our favorite waltz, Love in 3/4 time. Thank you.
Thank you and bravo. I love that set. The food poems are gonna be coming out now that it's the lunch hour. I just know it. Let's continue. I am looking at the schedule, and our next person up is, oh God, how can I forget his name? He's gonna kill me now. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Daly. Whoops, you got on mute. There you go.
All right, none of us have any idea how much time it takes to organize one of these festivals, but I am deeply grateful to Chad. Well, none of us except the organizers. I'm deeply grateful to Chad and to Xtina and to Christina for doing this and keeping this tradition going. My first poem is written in gratitude to James, and my official stance is now that of a lover. My official stance is now that of a lover, not a scoffer. I have uncoiled the harsh wires of that timepiece and turned toward the eager roll of the planets to keep me in time. Time is the only test which love has proven to be true. Love is a batch of omissions that have undone the codes of the transmissions of trespass, that have moved their heart muscles to stretch towards the intuition of forgiveness. I endeavor to forgive myself by recalling to my side those who find me ridiculous, officious, and viciously repetitious, to ask them to think of me as something that might endeavor to move from accuser to lover, rather than something so skewed by its own weather. I repudiate you and your priapic swelter. I repudiate you and your priapic swelter, your hair the color of a wet peach pit. I repudiate your shaggy torso, your glad-handing grab bag of a smile. I repudiate the way your nostrils swell with your shivery mischief. I turn my back to your treble-cleft tongue, that muscle sly with the slime of your sorties into the flicker of pulse and throb. I reject the light bulb shape guarding the opening to your ear that lit the darkness of my decades out of their starved doldrums. Somehow talking about you settles the uproar, the silent thoughts of you unmute. Now they are comparing your image to the image of a sports hero, you with your torso heady with grabbable flesh, compared to that schist-hard stud farm of a man. Do I have a right to be proud that the picture of the object of my bizarre infatuation is favorably assessed against that of a man wished for by a whole region of fuck folk, including me, who spend some better part of their life in the throes of their hormones? It would seem that you have learned to bend the bulking up by your glandular eruptions into bench presses that sturdy the sinews of your search for wisdom and fame. How I wish sometimes I too could take the rush of that overflowing river and sluice it through a mill to grind all my laziness, all my half-heartedness into the knowledge that you are wielding with more ferocious effect than the cry of the noisiest cock between the red zone and 5 o'clock. After sharing a bottle of wine with James on a street named for a famous philanderer, our brotherhood fortifies itself out of the cold sparkles that track the exhalations from our mouths, from sly smiles that wrinkle with the feeble collapse of propriety, as we ignore the traffic of the stars burning their vintage flares through the fabric of an umbrella, under which we flush with rosé in the calm of a flawless fall night. Sinners both, I try to coach you on how to win me back to the Proverbs and the alluring suffering of the saints, of a salvation system whose halos have blurred for me in the coming chaos of headlights down JFK Street, but which for you are as heady as the giddy devastation I feel when you wink your wit in my direction. Tell me, brother, that your Savior was hideously nicked with the splinters of all our sins as he bleached away under a vinegar sun on the longest afternoon in the history of the sundown Sabbaths. Tell me, as charity and hope cluster over the concrete barricades between us and the cars, that faith is something stouter than the tipsy, almost genuflections I stumble into as I walk home guffawing over the last hosanna of drollery you poured like a costly ointment on the portals of my over-eager ears. Thank you very much.
How is it that Tom Daly has never recorded a diss track? I would hate to have to be the reply poet. I repudiate your glandular. Shut up. That was amazing. That was amazing. Thank you very much, Mr. Daly. And now, moving forward. Oh, we have Elizabeth Guthrie. I hope.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate being a part of this. It's a pleasure listening to everyone. And I thought I would read at least 2 poems, maybe a set of portraits. I'll see how long I can, how many I can get in. So the first one is a series of poems I wrote at the breakfast table, sitting with my husband. It's called 13 Ways of Looking at the Breakfast Table. The breakfast table, bubbling over afternoon delights we don't want to leave. Something you considered to be a crocus in the snow on the radio. That's 2, Kagan, out of 13, Williams. This evening tires, tonight a pot pie homemade, tomorrow the weekend at last. So much depends upon a good blueberry and a strawberry. Trouble in China, trouble in Palestine, trouble in Israel. Swords into plowshares, driving to the Whitney to see Harry Smith. Ruth Osawana, growth patterns, endive, repeated, vertical angular lines. We're all out of cake, and we burnt all the churros. Un más cerveza. Through the morning window, in the light on the street, she bends down, lifts a ginkgo leaf from the golden heap. Walking meditation, going 80 miles an hour on the thruway. The tomatillo, grown upright in a trellis, bore no dangling fruit. How many days have I loved thee? 466 married. The howling lip of the void, corridors, accommodations, Marriott, rail trail. Daylight savings, jump forward into darkness, less light emitted. Classical clash at dusk, turning down the volume to hear the voice call. Rhythm, love, and finances, like playing a drum, his vivid dream. And that was actually 17, not 13. It grew. So I think I'll just read one more. It's a political poem. It's a pantoum. I hope you enjoy it. It's a bit nonsensical, but there is something that I'm trying to say within it. The post-anarchist and the pro-anti. He murmured, hard brakes thrill my truck, and when you touched the frosted window cool, he felt no mistake and would befriend the narrow shoulders of your old anarchy, your nearly or once forked cake, and that hollow made by your body plea. No matter, there was no audible plea to appease his truck that would be admonished in cake, and a coffee left to cool on the anarchy of his dash. He mused as though there was any movement to befriend, smelling around for another result to befriend, now that the dash would not plea, auto body, dismantlement, anarchy. To the relief of his truck's thoughts cool in the done cake. The uneven cake, soon to come to a wall and befriend, the fork tending to cool, the infamous untended plea, separates within his truck, for now hosting coffee and cake anarchy. He inquired into his companion's anarchy and was shocked to hear he would not get cake. There was no need for forks in his truck. The other backed into the word befriend and kicked at any plea as the window steamed against the cool. But outside it was still cool. His truck held anarchy, and cold coffee was no plea, just a decent companion to cake. The thought remained potent to befriend any of that to his truck. World trucks, he thought, were outwardly cool, and his would befriend the old anarchy, knowing that not it, but he could eat cake with a fork. I think that's all I have time for. Thank you for having me.
The new cake or death of our time. Thank you, Elizabeth. I love that reading. I love that the political works are going on. If this is going to be the last poetry reading under a democracy, I want to go. I want to go out with a bang. So thank you so much. Up next on the Zoom, let's welcome to our virtual podium January O'Neill, a powerhouse in the North Shore poetry scene.
Yeah. Woo, North Shore. We're a few of us on here. Thanks, Chad, and thanks to all the organizers. This is great, always. I'm going to read two poems. The first one is, I got a poem published in The Nation. And so since we're talking political, it's political to me for sure. This poem is called Woke Hustle, and you'll recognize woke comes up all the time in this poem. So it was the word itself started in the idea started in the Black community, and then it just got blown up. So this is my attempt to take it back. Woke guzzle. It was black cool before it was cool. Before it was woke, it was funky and fly, fleek and bay. Before it was FUBU, it was woke. Our language, just like every other catchphrase and dance move, taken, appropriated, pop culturalized into a tweetable talking point. Now we're woke. I have always loved the word. That shorthand of a head nod from somebody who looks like me, talks like me. I see you, sis. Stay woke. But I get it. The raised fist of vernacular meaning, we've been through some things, can be uncomfortable. If you know, you know. If you don't, are you unwoke? Is your man cheating on you? Is your girl stepping out? On his groove, Redbone, Childish Gambino tells us not to close our eyes. Stay woke. In the 1920s, Marcus Garvey writes, "Wake up, Ethiopia, wake up, Africa," while Leadbelly's lyrics remind us about the Scottsboro Nine. Best stay woke. On Master Teacher, Erykah Badu croons about a beautiful world she's trying to find from her album, New America, Part 1. She sings, "I have longed to stay woke." Sometimes I give my son the talk without speaking. That spark of sorrow lit between generations. Protect yourself, baby boy. Watch your back. Stay woke. Ferguson, Missouri, Michael Brown, walking while black. Police left his body in the street, August heat, for 4 hours. Someone's son. Protest ignite. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. Hashtag stay woke. If they didn't know what you were talking about, you wouldn't be in trouble, says my father, the vet, the cop. If you know, you know. We know. January, stay woke. Okay, and I will just read one more from my book, Glitter Wrote, which came out this year. Shiny cover, shiny cover, shiny cover. And it's fitting that Jen Martelli is on here, and Jennifer Jean, and Cindy Veach, I know, is on YouTube. At one point, we were all doing writing prompts in April of 2021, 2020. We were doing American Sonnets, and we all saw this story about a woman being swallowed by a python in Thailand. So we all wrote poems. So this is my version. Woman swallowed by a python in her cornfield. Inside every woman is a snake. Some think I'm a hoax or an oddity, rarer than winning Powerball or being struck by lightning. Everything has a form, even doubt. Think of me as someone you've met in a dream. Green stalks shade the sun, keep me hidden from the villagers, the non-believers. To find me, you must enter me. Oh, that your body fits into my body makes us unholy. Let me press my mouth to your scar, run my tongue along your flesh so I can taste how you wound. The wild boars patrolling the edges won't save you. Footprints, flashlight, machete, slippers, all that I've left behind. Inside every snake is a woman. That's the part of me I love the most. Reticulated constrictor, word made flesh, time unfolding, lore and legend. I am done telling the kinder story. I am a myth of my own making. Part my snake flesh, and you will find me intact, clothed as I was when I visited the corn. Think of me as a gift you're unsure how to open. Thank you.
It's September. Stay woke. Stay, and thank you, January, and thank you for all your contributions to the to everything good in the North Shore, and especially the Massachusetts Poetry Festival, which is coming back. I like that it's an on and off juggernaut, and it just surprises and pleases when it comes back.
I'm
Keep
so
going.
happy to support MP Carver, but right back at you, Chad. I mean, it's hard to be an organizer, so I get it. So thank you.
Thanks to all of you. Moving on. I don't know if she's on. Clarice Brooks. Well, Clarice, how the brooks stop babbling. Okay, let's all right, let us go now hopefully she'll come back. There's some people who have been missing us, but hopefully we'll be back later on in the marathon if we can do it. Emily Dickinson's taking a lot of spots. We got to take her down a pillar. I'm sorry. I know it's Dickinson, but let's go. Any spot that says Emily Dickinson on our online schedule is a free space so far, but that could change. But there, let the secret out. Emily Dickinson did not come back for this festival. Sorry. Let's go now to Jennifer Martelli.
Oh, thanks so much, Chad. And thank you for the whole team, Christina, and Bridget, for keeping this alive. It's been such an honor to be part of the Boston Poetry Marathon. And I'm just so happy about the whole Massachusetts poetry community. I think it's great. And Chad, that was an awesome Silence of the Lambs reference. That was really good. I'm going to read 3 epistolary sonnets from my latest chapbook, Dear Justice. Dear cusp of cancer, they've already sent a mother who midwifed her daughter's abortion to jail. I don't say this to my friends as we tour a colonial mansion. I'd ruin the day. I'm angry all the time now, then rue my anger throughout the night. The days are growing longer, though no warmer. Cusp, I read that cancer in women can manifest as loyalty or vengeance. I climbed to the widow's walk in a single line. This mansion's old wood could not sustain more than one of us at a time. I was afraid to stay longer than a glance at the harbor's pronged and calipered shape. The widow's portrait still hangs at the bottom of the stairs. She holds a bounty of fruit in her gold skirt, purple grapes, a ripe peach, green pears. These are her children, the docent says. The widow holds them where her uterus must be. She wears a mother of pearl choker too. Everything in this portrait is reflective. Cusp, June feels wrong, raw. I'm not sure how to enter and live in your cancerous house. Dear cusp of Virgo, the summer has been wet, heavy, and low. I prayed for rain the way I'd pray for my period to come, for release of that thick purple layer. Then I'd pray for it to stop. The last time I bled was in between my parents' deaths. Finally, it was over. The confusion, the bloat, hunger, rage. It was as if my father's November death birthed my mother's in August, a full-term gestation, so very wanted, no need to scrape it out. Cusp, the rain has only magnified the heat, caused blackouts and fires where I live. Sirens clear the golf course hills, roads dug up, disemboweled. I heard leather wings at dusk just beyond the north-facing window. I read that envy is the one sin without any joy. I want too much and all the time, even in my prayers. Even my poems try to kill what I can't have. Cusp, I love your shape, the curve of your hook that catches, that hollows out all the fruit, the meat. Dear Amy Coney Barrett, have you ever wept when someone you don't know is kind to you? The nurse who held my hand during my second abortion said the quick loss of pregnancy hormones could have caused my weeping. The doctor had such smooth, dark skin and a pure white beard. It was as if a waxing or waning moon hovered between my legs. He was kind too and said, almost done, almost done. He sounded like the tide. I did your chart. The Friday you were born, the moon was humped, gibbous. Astronomers call it a moon giant. Astrologers say you have great willpower, dislike almost every change. You have the choice to show your love with actions. When your moon is in Cancer, you have the choice to inflict great harm. Amy, We were both born on Aquarian cusps, sharp points of a moon's crescent hook. I'm being very intrusive now, but under your black robe, you should wear Aquarius blue. Around your neck, a plum gemstone. Thank you.
The pandemic and, in all honesty, the years building up to it have created an immense body of work that, I would say tragically, has only been really getting out into book form recently. But thank God for readings like these, as you can hear the work as it's happening. And I hope it doesn't stop, because I think a lot of people are going to be putting the last eight to 10 years into a memory hole, and it's up to us to be like, hey, I remember this shit. Up next, I have, is there a Maddie Deed present? Unfortunately, no, but I'm going straight to Jennifer Markel. Yes.
Yeah, got it right. Thank you for having me back here. It's great to be here. I have a bit of a cat emergency going on in the background, so I'm a little distracted and I may have to run off after a few more, but here we go. So this is an elegy for my aunt who died in May. It's called Brief Candle for Linda Siegel Crawley. I'd like to walk you back to orioles gorging on spring catkins under the willow's sweep. I'd like to sit with you on the great lawn. Puck and the fairies bless the palace, the same amphitheater where Lady Macbeth could not remove the spot. So beautiful and so terrible, both, you whispered your last night, when I leaned in close, still hopeful. I'd like to be the idiot in the field who doesn't know the guitar has no strings and plays the song of a soft-bodied fly trapped in amber. You've freed yourself from your body, from the hospital room where they spun your blood into fine particles, no space between sunrise and fall of breath. Okay, and this is a big switching of the gears here. To the jackass who ran the red light at 29 Palms. If only you could siphon straight from a gasoline river, you'd never have to wait at the pump, wilting under UV rays like a barrel-planted tulip. If only you could cut the line at the Mojave Mini Mart and the toll booth offered Red Bull to go, you could drive all night, forget the old man you nearly killed, full moon tailing you, a guilty conscience. A billboard promises oasis at the Dream Inn. If only you could buy a peaceful night's sleep. The bighorn sheep are bleeding, and it's late to undo your Jesus tattoo. I'm going to read one more. This is a prose poem. Carlene informs the new home health aide. It's not a sleepy job, it's a pee-pee job. You take Mrs. Wood to the bathroom when she rings the bell. She rings a lot. Cook eggs her way, soft-boiled, 6 minutes. Set the timer, she listens for the buzzer. Give her some conversation when she eats. It puts her in a better mood. Say something personal. Tell how your husband likes his eggs runny, your mother dry. Something she likes to hear is, when it comes to eggs, everybody has their own way. If she's in a good mood, you can say more. Today I tell her, my son was asleep on the couch when I left this morning. He was wearing the gold cross I got him for Christmas. Lunch is 12:30. Tuna salad on soft wheat, pickle on the side. Cut the sandwich into 2 triangles. She starts from the corner and works her way in. You can't go wrong with chicken breast for dinner. Make sure she never runs out of cling peaches. Don't use the cloth napkins. Stay away from her closet. She'll think you're going to steal her shoes. It helps to do your makeup. Cherry lips, pink up your cheeks. No matter, Mrs. Wood's nearly blind. If you're lucky, on your break, you'll see handsome Ronnie sweeping the hallway. When he smiles, you see the space between his front teeth, wide like the hours. Some days are so long, when I take Mrs. Wood to the bathroom, I check the mirror to make sure I'm still here. Thank you. I can't hear you. You're muted.
Okay. Whoops. Wonderful work, and it's only getting better with each passing poet. Can't wait to go back and read this. Thank you, Jennifer. And up next, to finish off this hour, we have Mr. Jack Miller.
Hi. Thank you, as always, to the organizers and all the participants, especially. Always happy to be here. I've got 3 that range from very old to very new and experimental. I'm going to start with, there are 3 types of black salt. Indian black salt, or Kala Namak, isn't black, the way that a black heart isn't black. Kala Namak is pink, the way that a black heart is pink when scraped with a thumbnail. And this is therefore easy to remember. Kala Namak smells of sulfur, tastes of decay, or of the pit. Others will say it tastes of eggs, but let's face facts, we're all poets here, we know the score. Black lava salt is black, but isn't really black salt. Whether Cypriot or Hawaiian, it's merely sea salt mixed with activated charcoal. The salt is white. The salt is in blackface, the way that a black heart is merely a pink one that is oxidized in a high-loss atmosphere. Activated charcoal is administered to poison victims, dogs who have eaten chocolate, and especially poets. Black ritual salt is the basest fraud of all. It is black, but like a black heart, it is not to be consumed. It is salt, but mixed with ash and char and scrapings from cast iron cauldrons, or the outer layer of the blacker variety of black hearts. It is salt rendered poisonous. Should you lick it from the chalice rim, not even activated charcoal will save you. Okay. Mondegreen, Thursdays at 9, 8 Central. Imagine my mortification after so many years in syndication when I finally noticed the laugh track. I suppose I was too deep in character to hear it before, too invested in the role. And all those subplots, the wacky hijinks distracting me, dividing my attention, but we always had to think about the ratings. Had to give the viewers what they wanted, had to sell more cars, more cola, more perfect American smiles. I could have been professional, played the part, like you, instead of getting lost in mine, instead of grasping too late the significance of your scripted wanderlust, your enthusiasm for trees. Thanks to the closed captions, I finally understand the canned laughter, that our whole story arc was just a big misunderstanding, that you spoke only of travel destinations whenever you said, "I'll love you." And because today is National Ghost Hunting Day, we're going to get a little bit experimental with, there is a ghost town outside of Petaluma. Mine is the creaking spine of a scrapbook in which the paste never dries. Fragments, scissored from yellow newsprint, rimpling into a fingerprint gone missing from a rusty gun.
Snow Blankets Hills outside of Petaluma.
Follow the red thread wet with winter heavy breath.
Just outside of Petaluma is a quiet place to visit.
The loudest sound, the stirring of ashes and burnt feathers in a delicate sigh of absent intent. Follow the red thread, now steaming, to its source. Officials warning,
There is a significant amount of smoke in the area due to fires outside of Petaluma.
arson tastes of too little sauce, licked from an expanse of too much plate. Here the thread splits to conclusions. There is a
Fatal crash outside of Petaluma.
someone is
Impaled by a metal fence post outside of Petaluma.
there is a
Landfill outside of Petaluma.
so too,
There is a ghost town outside of Petaluma.
in which a blighted white alder crosses a lightning split black oak. Thank you.
Fantastic ending to our noontime slot. Let's thank Jennifer Jean, Collie Lightfoot, Tom Daly, Elizabeth Guthrie, Jennifer Martelli, Jennifer Markel, and Jack Miller. Sorry for Maddie and Clarice not being able to make it. Well, maybe they'll be back. We shall find out. This concludes the noontime slot for the Boston Poetry Marathon. We still have much to go, at least one more hour to go, or so I hear, or so my denial keeps telling me. We got a ways to go. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this. Thanks to the poets, and thanks to everyone who is listening, either in Zoom land, the few in Zoom land, or the more out in YouTube land. We are getting some traction with the YouTube, and hopefully the WBUR program has aired the story, so more people can get turned over to us. We just had people from Northeastern say, "We sorry we missed this, but we want to be involved next year." So it's an exciting time for us, and we are glad you're a part of it. Thank you, and stay tuned for the 1 o'clock slot.
Thank you.